Welcome to the Awakened Goddess Show, your source for inspiration, wisdom, and personal discovery. The place to learn from a diverse mix of mentors, metaphysical experts, spiritual leaders, and best-selling authors from around the world. I'm your host, Angela Wilkinson. Join me as I explore the minds of my masterful guests while they share powerful insights and easy-to-use tools you can start using right away. Now, let's tap into the energy of the Awakened Goddess and be enlightened by today's guest. Vialet Rayne offers a dimension of compassion that is unparalleled. She is a gifted intuitive, medium, and Akashic Records reader. She is studied in the mystery school in past lives and in this lifetime. She is an alchemist, high priestess, transformational healer, certified Reiki and angelic Reiki master and teacher, gifted medium, intuitive reader, and channeler. As a visionary, Vialet brings forth a connection to spirit that is beautifully authentic and powerful. Her healing sessions offer the potential to bring about shifts in all areas of one's existence. Her messages are uplifting and positive to empower and stimulate each person who comes into her healing spiritual center. Now let's welcome Vialet to the show. Hi, I'm Angela Wilkinson, and welcome to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show, where we co-create powerful, conscious conversations on the leading edge. Today I have a dear friend of mine joining me today, and this is Vialet. She's going to be talking with me about becoming a magical creator. So welcome, Vialet.
Thanks, Angela. It's so awesome to be here.
Yes, one of my most favorite things to talk about is being a creator, and when we add magic to the mix, that's even better. So
Well, creation is somewhat about magic, right? In our mind of thinking of, because as spiritual beings having this physical experience, we sometimes forget that we're magical ourselves. And that we have the ability to really create when we allow ourselves to do that. So it's really awesome when you understand how all that works together and the universe supports us to be able to create what we're looking for and to understand the signs as we're being guided too, because they're guiding us on this journey to really help and support us if we pay attention. So pretty awesome process.
It's true, and I love you're bringing up signs, because signs are something that really help me get through those moments when I maybe have a little self-doubt, when I am stepping into something new. This just happened to me recently for my Europe trip. As you know, I have been planning this trip for about a month now. And I was having a moment when, things have gone really, really well, really smoothly. Things have been showing up. But then I had this moment, it was like actually on Lion's Gate, when in the morning I was just like, oh my gosh, is this really going to work? How is this going to happen? It was just like this overwhelming sense of, But then I looked, my dog was barking outside, and I was going out there to tell him to shush and be quiet. And then I noticed that there were 4 deer that were leaving the water side and going up the hill. And it was like 2 adults and 2 babies. And wow. I was like, oh my gosh, it was just a magical sign to tell me just, stay on track. It's all good.
That's beautiful. And all of us have our own signs, right? We have our own things that we see and go, wow, that's it. And being scared sometimes to step out into that unknown world and really create something different. I had a similar experience. I've worked in the business world for 20 years as an executive, a human resource professional dealing with people. And I've dreamed about opening a spiritual center for over 10 years, all the way down to every detail of the things I wanted in it and what I wanted it to be. And talked about it and decided to step in, but really was afraid to step in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we all have that, where you look to the universe and go, okay, I'm ready to do this. I need your help. Help me support. And we were talking about it in October last year about opening this space. And my sign in December was my position was eliminated with my company. And so it was like, oh, now what do I do? Right.
Yeah.
And it's your sign. It's time to step in. It's time to really move forward and create and do that. And the universe gives us all kinds of signs, whether it's that or a friend saying, what are you doing? What about this? And you're like, oh, I've been thinking about that. What a confirmation to get that I'm on the right track. And those signs are so important when we're creating and putting something together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we need to just pay more attention to that and be able to really create. And so my belief system is for us to really create is we really need to think about it, visualize it, feel it. What does it look like? What are the details of it? Really understand, what our vision and mission is so that we set out on that right path to do that. And since I've opened the space, everyone that comes in is like, wow, you manifested this. And I said, yeah, I've been creating it for a while to get ready to do that personally and spiritually, to step into that, right? It's a journey. Mm-hmm. And timing is so critical. And so if we just sometimes trust, that's another real big part of it, is we don't always trust that it's going to come together for us, right?
Right. Well, it's true because when we're stepping into, it's like this threshold that we step over, that, we have these ideas in our head of these dreams that we want to accomplish. It's like, oh, I would love to find my soulmate, or I would love to get a new job or a new career, or start this new center, or go on this trip to Europe. And then there's that moment where we have to really, it's like that moment of declaration and that choice point. Are we really ready to step in, or are we going to stay on this side of the comfort zone?
Right? Stay over here. I'm just going to stay over here and comfortably sit because I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure about stepping over. And a lot of times when I meet people that are trying to create change in their life or new direction or anything, their vision, what they want, changes like every few minutes. Like, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, or I've been thinking about this, or maybe I should try that. And think about the universe that wants to support us is going, okay, when they figure it out, we'll come back. We're going to go take a vacation. And when they're ready, we're going to come back, because sometimes they want to give us something really beautiful and we push it away due to fears, doubts, uncertainty. We're not sure. We're not ready to step in. And we become very magical creators when we have clear ideas of what we want and what we want to create and what we want to bring in, and we can really step into it. Mm-hmm. So it creates like a beautiful process when we're able to do that.
So I'm curious when because I have found that too with people, they're really jumping from different pieces. I want this, I want that, I don't know what it looks like. So it's like they keep shifting. And it's so true that the universe can't bring to you what you're not real clear about. So how do you work with someone to get them to really get grounded in what it is they truly want?
Well, I think you have to get centered. And one of the exercises, or some of them I give to people, is go home and journal or write down or make a list or create a set of, even cutting out of magazines or visuals, or going on the computer and really visualizing, seeing it, writing it down, and creating a really clear picture of what you're looking for. But you also need to understand, what's it going to feel like? What's this going to be like when it happens? Where am I going? Even manifesting financial goals, what does that look like? And I can say we mentally get something in our head and we hold on to it. And the reason that some people don't increase their income over time is they believe that's the amount of money they can make. Well, what if we change that as creators and say, no, I can make more of that? And a clear example of that's about 20 years ago. I was just starting in HR and was making about $60,000 a year, and that was my income. And my daughter and I were sitting around. She was a young adult, and I said, you know what? I want to make six figures. I want to be a vice president of human resources. And she's like, but Mom, what do you make now? And I go, 60,000. And she goes, do you really think that's possible? And I said, yeah, I believe it's possible. I believe I can do that. And I can take actions to get there, right, on my side. But I'm telling the universe, this is what I want. This is what I'm reaching for. This is where I'm going. And a year and a half later, I accomplished each one of those, because when we give clear direction, right, we can make it. But as creators, sometimes we limit ourselves in believing this is as much as I can make at this level. And you got to be realistic at that too. But pushing that level up a little bit each time is really helpful and beneficial to really give them a clear understanding in the universe of, what do you want? And sometimes we don't always know what we want. So even asking the universe, can you help me? I feel like I'm going in this direction, but give me ideas. And it's wonderful what we get in meditations, or we see a movie, or a friend says something, or we're walking in the mall or a store. We're like, oh, that's it. That's exactly what I've been thinking about. And they will help us if we ask for, I want to get here, but what do I need to do? What am I missing? What am I not thinking about? To allow the universe, again, to come and support us and provide us some of those resources and tools so that we kind of have a little more direction as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love that you're talking about money. Because for me, honestly, I mean, I've talked about this on the show, so it's no secret that money for me has been the hardest thing to manifest. I can manifest everything around money. I can manifest things that cost a lot of money if I were to have, to buy them. But it's crazy. The actual physical money, it's just like, what the heck? And so I'm wondering, at least for me, it seems like money, I don't really have this meaning, like because it becomes so electronic and we don't have a tangible sense of money, that right, there's like a disconnect. Mm-hmm. Have other people that you've come across had that same experience, or is it just me?
And sometimes people have beliefs that they're not worthy to receive money. They're not worthy to get that. And so it creates blocks. It creates obstacles for them to move forward. So sometimes it could be a belief system. Sometimes it's our subconscious. And so that's a great question. In opening my new business, I had noticed that revenue-wise, I was getting to a certain level, but I wasn't getting above that. Mm-hmm. And so driving home one day, I'm like, oh, because I have that amount in my head, I'm thinking about that's all I can do. So let's test something. Next month, I want to get this level of revenue, and this is my target. And I started thinking about it early in the month and said, okay, universe, I don't know how we're doing this, but I believe we can get to this next level. Show me that we can do that. And so it's gotten to be a really fun process of calling my husband at the end of the month and going, guess what? I made that and a little bit more. And then getting to the next month and going, okay, universe, now I want this level. Not sure how we're going to get there, but help me get there. and watching it grow in little steps in a healthy growth and direction. And it's just, throughout the month, I'm like, okay, mentally, that's my goal. When I meditate, this is my goal. When I'm thinking about it, this is my goal. And just keeping focused on that. The other fun thing that I have is a money bowl on my altar, which is very beautiful. And so I love to take, when I receive revenue or a payment or my paycheck or any of that, and sitting in that bowl for 24 hours and being grateful for what I've got and holding gratitude and doing magical rituals of, I am grateful for this universe. Thank you so much for where it comes from. Here it is. Please bless that. And anyone that touches that, anywhere that it goes in cycles, make this a blessing to those that receive it, and it goes out. And I noticed that really sets a really magical ritual in my life to create and to manifest and to support me personally and, professionally and all of that. So it's just one of my sweet little rituals that I do with finances to change those thought processes that I'm not worthy or I can't do this, to say, yes, we can do this. There is enough for all of us.
Yes. And I personally love rituals and creating rituals because it helps me really ground the 5D energy into the 3D energy. And so I love this ritual of honoring the money that comes in, that you receive, and allowing it to sit there for a period of time and giving you that space to be with it and not just have it spent in like 5 minutes.
Right. And it's gone. Right. And some of us do direct deposit, and I get that, but you can take all that and sit it there and still bless the idea of, I received this today. Thank you, universe, for my blessings. Be grateful in that. Let it sit for a couple, 24 hours, and you yourself be really grateful for that, and watch it grow and expand to support you in the process. So it is a really great way to do that. And I'm like you, I love rituals. I think we're such sacred beings that we crave sacredness and rituals in our life. And sometimes we don't have enough of it, and we forget how simple things can be so sacred and have so much ritual in them.
Well, let's talk more about that then, because I do think it is really, really important. Because I think that ritual creates space for so many things in our life. It's like self-care, and you're creating that space, that time and energy that's sacred for yourself. So it's like greater compassion for yourself. So yeah, let's explore this idea more of rituals.
Well, I think rituals can be simple and practical and easy. It's something that we bring into our lives. And so some of my sacred rituals that I use is salt baths. And when I've had a hard day or stressful day, or the day's been really crazy, or, work was really difficult, I have found in my life coming home and taking a salt bath is one of the most magical ways to release and let go. If we can all remember the feeling of walking along the beach and the salt air, and how it seems to re-energize and charge us back up, and it seems to really clear us and cleanse us, and it gives us a really sweet grounding and clearing. Salt baths are an incredible ritual to have in your life, to utilize, even to do it on a regular basis, or to do it when we really need them. I just think they're cool. Another ritual.
Do you like to light candles and put in the essential oils? Yeah,
I do all that.
Yeah,
so
me too.
At my space, you would love it, Angela. So we do a salt bath workshop where you come in, and there are 20 different elements to create your bath salt. And so you put your intention into your salt and you create it, because we traveled to the Dead Sea centuries and centuries ago to do this exact same thing. Our body craves it and really wants it. So my husband always says that I married him because of his tub, because in my bathroom, I actually have like a salt bench. And so I have bowls and wooden spoons. So I create the bath salts in a magical area. And yeah, there's crystals around the tub, and there's candles and music to create that really sweet space to really kind of let go of your day, and really self-care, as you mentioned, to take care of yourself. So we have these great workshops where people come in and make their salts and learn about them and put oils in them and herbs in them. And so it's a really beautiful process. And so I have that same setup at home. So people come to visit and they're like, oh, wow, this is amazing.
Well, I'm going to stop by when I'm in Colorado.
I hope you do. You come on. My husband cooks a great meal, so we're the hostess with the mostest. So we would love to have you at any time that you come. But yeah, I think bath salts are great. I also think burning candles are amazing rituals in our life. You know, anytime that we're in meditation or prayer, or just in our space, it brings in, you know, all the elements of, you know, fire and the connection. And so candles to me represent our soul and our body. So the jar is the body, and the wax is our soul and our mind. So it has all those magical properties, and the wick is our connection. And when we light it, we're really connecting to source. And so we make candles too at my center. And so we put our intentions in them. And you know, one of my big rituals every year is in October, November, sitting down and figuring out our intentions. And so this year we'll figure out, what do we want to create in 2018? What do we want to bring into our lives? Health, finances, better relationships, better connections with family. And so we create that whole process, and then we make a candle for every month, which is supported by the energies of that month and what we've put into it. And so every year I burn a candle every month that I have made the year before with all my intentions in it to bring in, and then a journal to journal on what I'm getting and what's happening in our life and what's happening around us. And so I've done that over 5 years. So it is a big ritual in my life that I do, is making the candles and burning those.
Well, I have to tell you, one of my favorite rituals in the past that I used to do, there are the tall candles in the glass jars, right? And I would take like the permanent markers in different colors, and I would write all of my intentions on the outside. But I love how you're describing this, because yeah, it's just like you're infusing that energy into your candle, and it's so magical. And you really can feel the power when you light the candle with this energy infused into it. And I love how you're integrating like the energies of each month, and so how beautiful. It's very magical.
It is very magical. It's a 5-hour workshop, and people absolutely love it. It's one of the favorite things, and you're putting your energies into it, right? You're putting your soul, your energy into the candle that you're making to bring forth what you're trying to create. So it's one of those beautiful rituals that you can have. And those are a few. You know, other ones are oils. Essential oils are great to have. I have a medicine cabinet with all oils and not medicine. So this oil's for this and this oil's for that and that. Diffusing oil throughout the year. There are different times a year that I diffuse different things, you know, to keep us, because I have 3 children in my household, to keep us all from those colds moving around in the air. So, you know, I diffuse things to remove some of those antiviral bacterial things in our home, or help them focus on their homework, or you know, if you've had a hard day, that'll do it too, is, you know, letting go of some oils like lemon, which brings us great joy and lifts us up, wakes us up, makes us feel better. no matter where we're at. So those are great rituals that when I used to have my office as an executive, I had this whole line of bottles of oils, and everybody would come in and they'd have to smell each one because we're really drawn to the
Yeah.
oils, right?
Mm-hmm.
From a soul deep down, we really resonate with the oils and bringing them in our lives, and they have a lot of magical properties too that really connect us to the earth and all the natural things and help us get out in nature. When we don't, we can at least smell the oils if we're not good at doing that. So just a
Yes.
lot of beautiful rituals. There's
Well,
so many things.
and it's fun because if those that are watching and listening, essential oils and things like that are a great way to help. If you are surrounded by people maybe that you live with that are not of the same mindset that you are, and all this stuff is like woo woo to them. I Essential oils are like one of the best ways to increase the vibrational frequency, and or incense. It's like it
Right.
elevates and it helps kind of sneak that in the back door.
It really does, because they can't resist it, can they? Whether it's
No.
oils or incense, they're like, what do you got? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Right? And so it draws them in. I mean, there's no doubt or fear. People just love to smell them. And so they do bring magical properties, but there's lots of other simple things that we can bring into your life. I know one of the things that I started doing was adult coloring. And people laugh because you get out a coloring book and start coloring, right? And they're like, that seems a little silly, but it's healing. It really helps you release and let go and lets that stress go, and you get to play with pretty colors. And there are so many things that can bring joy and beautiful things in our lives that are rituals or practices that are simple for us to do. It's just integrating those different things that we love to do, whether it's taking a hike or going out and walking around a lake, or taking a ride in the mountains with the top down, or walking along the beach, or making a friend's day where you have a play date and you go play. I think we get so busy in our lives with everyday stuff that we forget what makes us happy, what brings joy, and we don't do enough of it. And so we just need more of that, because the more we bring in, the more of that we create in our life. More joy, more happiness, the more that we pay attention and make sure that we're filling our lives with that kind of stuff.
Yes, it's so true. And I am very blessed because the majority of my life is um, I involve myself in all of these things. I mean, this is my business, rituals and setting intentions and lighting candles and having these conversations. And so, I'm very blessed in that respect. But then there's also the part of me that it's kind of like, the business person, the go, go, go. And so, yes, even for myself, it's like, always having to remind myself, play, have fun, lighten up.
And it's important. And you know what? If we don't do that, the universe will do it for us. Have you ever noticed
Yes.
that? When
Yes.
we really push and really work hard and we don't do self-care, we don't take care of ourselves, we don't do the things that our body really needs, like massages or pedicures or whatever that might be that makes you feel good. The universe figures that out, and then all of a sudden you're sick or something happens, and it puts a block up to really take care of us. So when that happens, we really have to ask ourselves, okay, they're trying to tell me something. What are they trying to tell me? Oh, I need to play more. I need more self-care. I'm not taking care of myself, and I need to do that. So they're slowing me down. Okay. And once you acknowledge that, it's amazing how better you get and how you progress through that and understand that, oh, they're trying to help me this is part of my journey, and this is a lesson for me that I need to take care of myself. I need to play. I need to love myself more, make time for myself more. And it puts us back on track.
Yes. Yes. Oh, awesome. I'm loving this conversation so far. So this is time for a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll continue having some fun. Have you created vision boards, listened to meditations, and read books on how the law of attraction works, yet you're still not where you want to be? The key to manifesting is focusing your attention on your big dreams consistently, fully embodying the feeling as if it's already happening. And that's why I created the Envision Experience, a revolutionary and simple 28-day process for powerful quantum-level dream manifesting. So if this sounds interesting to you, I'd love for you to join us. You can find out more at theawakenedgoddess.com/envision-experience. Now back to the show. So I'm having so much fun with this conversation about rituals because, as I said, rituals I really, really enjoy. And I always like hearing about other people's rituals so I can implement them in my own life. But I want to switch gears just a little bit and talk about sacred space because I think that goes so well with rituals. So let's talk about what is sacred space, because it's not just a physical thing, right?
It's not. And, it's interesting. Most people, when you talk about creating sacred space, they go, what is that? What do you mean by sacred space? And, we're these divine beings wanting to be in sacred space. So what does that mean? It is more than physical. But the physicality does have some importance here. So let's talk about our home. Who owned our home before? What people lived there? What were the memories, the experiences, the things that happened in that home? Because buildings hold that energy of everything that's happened in there. And so when we move into our homes, did we clear it? Did we ask questions on the families before and what's happened there? Was there a family that lived there that may have had divorce or struggled with addictions, or there was abuse? Think about those energies that physical space would hold, and understanding that. So when I move into a new space, whether it's home or work, I'm always going into that space, really sitting in it and asking it in my meditation or intuitively or doing the research. What does the space feel like? What energies are in the space? What needs to be cleared? And then the next question is, so what do I want to bring into the space, which is more than just the physical? Is it for family? Is it for education? Is it for healing? Is it for work? What do I want to create? And so you have to start with the physical, I think, first, and in really understanding the physical, but then how do you create that sacredness? And so we all talk about clearing with sage or bells or drums or crystal bowls or Tibetan bowls or essential oils that we've talked about and spraying. There's lots of ways to clear. There's also meditation, bringing people in to do ceremony in the space to really lift that energy a little bit higher. And so once we have the intention set in the space and we've cleared it and we have an understanding, then how do we maintain or create that? And I believe it's in the things that we do in that space. And so it's always interesting to me when you meet people or families, what do they watch? What TV shows do they watch in the space? What movies are they really interested in the space? What music do they listen to? What are the words in that music? What are we hearing subconsciously in that space? Because I think it's so important in what we're feeding the space, but also feeding our lives, because we're a sacred space. We physically are, right? And so what do we watch during the day? What TVs do we get into of a night? What movies are we drawn to go see? And I don't know about you, but I've seen shifts in what I'm interested in seeing from 20
Yes.
years ago.
Oh, yeah. I don't
You
watch
know?
like traditional TV news or anything like that.
Right, me either, because it's
Yeah.
like, it's so negative. And so a great example is years and years ago, I was a really big X-Men fan, and I love Hugh Jackman and Wolverine, and I thought that was like the greatest thing ever. And
Well, he
on
is
my
pretty hot. I mean,
He is, I mean, how can you, but on my spiritual journey of growing, he just had a movie come out several months ago, and I was like, I can't watch it.
Mm,
I don't want to see that anymore. I don't want to bring that into my sacred space, my body, my thoughts, my thinking, to visually watch that. And so I'm noticing, and I don't know if everybody else is noticing, but I'm noticing shifts in really what I want to go see and what I'm pulled into. I want to laugh more. I want to see people in love. I want to see passion and romance. I want to
yeah.
see happy endings. I want to see more stuff about what divine beings we are, and how great this life is. I want to feed my soul those types of things. And I'm noticing big shifts. I'm like you, I'm not a big TV person. It's really hard for me. I think our television, it's funny, I'd rather go watch some of the Disney shows that have really good storylines to them that are powerful. And why don't we have more of that for adult entertainment and movies, right? So that we're feeding that sacred space. So to me, that's part of it.
Hmm.
And also our relationships, right? If we have happy, supportive, joyful, loving relationships, we're creating that space to be with other divine people or people that we love that support us. But if we surround ourselves with individuals that, the world is doomed and life is terrible, and it just gets really painful to be around them, we're creating more of that in our space by bringing that in. And so, sometimes it's hard to say, I need to walk away. This isn't the best relationship in my life. And so I tell people that I see as clients that come to me, and they want so much to have social relationships and great relationships in their life, that they need to ask themselves every time they come home, is this a joyful relationship? Are you giving more than you're receiving? Create your list of what you want out of these relationships. Do they make you laugh? Do they bring you joy and happiness? Or do you come home and you feel drained and exhausted? And if that's the case, find new relationships. Go out there and seek something else for your sacred space, for your life, to bring that stuff in, because it's just so important.
Well, and I can hear people saying, but I don't like any of the people that I work with. They're just so
Right?
And you having experience in HR, what would you say to someone that a good portion, or like I've had listeners of the show contact me and say, you know what, I live in Tennessee and I don't have anyone around me that is of this mindset. Like how do we like create this when we feel like we're so isolated or we're so alone and can't find these people, our tribe or our community?
Right. Well, I think we have to create that sacred space. And so a good example of that was my office in HR. People would come in through the door and they'd go, oh, and I'd go, what? And they go, there is just something
Yeah.
about your office
It
And
feels
so
so good.
it feels so good. And it really was the energy that was put in it and the symbolism and the intention. And I would bring fresh flowers in every other week and put up so that it had beautiful flowers. And I had the oils. And so I created this space. And even though people don't understand, as you said, the woo woo stuff, there is something about that they're drawn into. Like they love to sit in that energy, that positive energy, that positive space. They want to be in it. And I just created intentions that as people cross the threshold of my area or office, that it was only in light and love and positive intention that they were able to come into my space. Now, does that work 100% of the time? No, but you would be surprised how often it does, where people would just turn and walk the other way, and you'd be like, okay, I'm good with that, right? I want to create this zone that is sacred and kind of safe to me. And you don't have to have my beliefs. I can love you as a divine being for who you are. You don't have to believe in what I believe, but we can connect to each other with a loving, compassionate way and support each other and, talk about how beautiful this is or how wonderful that is and keep that on track. And I've had times where people would be in this conversation and there's 3 or 4 people and you've seen it and they're like, "Rrr," and I'd just be like, okay, it's time for me to go. And I just get up and leave. It's like, I don't want to be in this energy, and I would have employees or people come in and they're like, this isn't working and that's not working and we can't do this. And, you stop them and go, bring me solutions. Tell me how it can work. Tell me what we need to do to make it work. Show me some options, some ways to look at it differently. Come with solutions. Don't come with problems. Let's talk about what we can do about it. What can we change? What do we have control over? What can we make different? And we can control, our space and how it feels and what it looks like. And we can control our contribution to the conversation or to the environment. And I think people soon learn that, oh, Violet's, she's gonna make me find a solution if I come and see her. So I better think about what I can do, right? Because we need to see the positive in things. And so I've always saw the glass half full and not half empty. I really always step back and go, okay, what's the good in this? What's the lesson? What does this person have that's beautiful? Because all of us are divine beings. We all have a beautiful aspect. Sometimes we get lost. Sometimes we get hurt. And sometimes we need a lot of healing, but we all started as divine beings. And, everybody wants, or at least I hope so, or I think wants to have a beautiful experience. Some people just don't know how.
Yes.
They get stuck.
It's true. It's true. And one of the best things I think you can do is be a role model. And it's like when you start creating this sacred container for yourself and doing things that make you feel good, when people see that, it's like you radiate that out. And then you help kind of pave the way for them to start doing these kinds of things for themselves. And the other thing is that when you put that boundary there, that energetic boundary, you're really claiming your space and saying, this is kind of in a way like, this is how I want to be treated. And so other people start reflecting that, or they start falling away.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it's absolutely true. And that's how you pull people in, because they're like, what are you doing that I don't know about that I need to know, right?
Yeah.
What's going on with you? Like, what did you do to this office? And it was always so funny. And they'd move me to another office and I would create that. And so one of the office moves, they were moving me from a window office into an inside kind of a closet shaped office. And everybody's like, "Oh, Violet, they're moving you." And I'm like, "No problem. There's no problem." And so I went out and bought all these beach paintings and beach and happy stuff in Colorado. And I decorated the whole office and beach and really lovely. And they did the same thing. They'd come and they'd be like, "Your office." And I go, "It's just what you set it up to be, to support you. You just shift the energy, bring in some love, what you love, and good stuff and happiness. And you can create it anywhere."
Yes, definitely. Definitely. You are the one that creates it. So beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to do an experience. Are you an Awakened Goddess Show insider? Each and every month, our members receive lots of fantastic perks, including behind-the-scenes conversations from the show, outrageously fun virtual happy hours, bonus meditations, powerful activations, and healing energy work with the guests, exclusive gifts and private readings, on-demand access to the show, plus an invite to join our private community. Visit our website today at theawakenedgoddess.com for more information. Now back to the show. All right, so for this experience, I think it would be really, really fun. You know, we talked about creating sacred space, and we started this conversation about being a magical creator. And we just finished talking about relationships and surrounding yourself with the right people. So I think, could you walk us through, like, to manifest maybe a new partner, a man or a woman, whoever it is that we're looking for into our life?
Absolutely. I would love to do that. I was able to do that for myself. So
Nice.
I would love to share that with you. I think the first step, I think step number one we have to do is sit down and really spend some time writing it down and journaling. What are we looking for in that relationship? And in other words, characteristics, but not make it so difficult that it's hard to bring in. You know, sometimes we set ourselves up that, you know, they have to be blonde and they have to have blue eyes and they have to, you know, and if we make it too hard, not saying it's impossible, I think the universe sometimes would love us to show us things that we haven't considered. So as you create that list, be really open to possibilities, because there's so many beautiful possibilities out there that sometimes we miss just because we haven't considered it. So if I was sitting down with a list looking to create or bring in a partner, what kind of partner do I want? You know, what are some of the characteristics? Do I want them to be family oriented? Do I, you know, want them to be successful? But think about, if they're successful, they may be, you know, really work driven, and you want to have that balance so they have time for you. Is it important that they're able to travel or like travel? Is it important to you that they love pets? Is it, you know, so think about all those details and really put some thought. And what I would say is sit on it for a little bit, a short time, and keep looking at your list and going back through it and saying, okay, this is really critical for me. This is not so critical. This is really important and must have, but you know, this would be okay. And let the universe know, number one, what those possibilities are. So once you figure out your list, and what would be on your list, Angela? What would be an important thing on your list?
Well, certainly be woo-minded. So be open-minded to, like, really exploring the edges of this reality. Be genuine and caring, in integrity.
Those are all,
yeah,
right?
passionate.
Those are great ones. Yeah. So when we figure those out, it helps us set course, which is funny because that's what I was looking for, is somebody that was spiritual like me, that would understand me. And what I found is I didn't find that, but they were accepting of who I was and curious. In other words, didn't shut me down, but gives me a different perspective of life. So
Yes.
it was great to have something a little different. That's why I say always be open to possibilities and see what that is. So those are great lists. And everybody's list is different. As I've met friends over time, their lists of what's important. And I think it's where our journey is taking us, and the relationships that we've had that haven't worked, and what we all know what we don't want. It's sometimes tough to understand what we do want. So I think both of those lists are important. So I think once we have our list and we have a really good understanding of what we want or don't want, we have to visualize it. So in order to visualize this relationship that you're bringing in, there's lots of fun ways to do that. You can create vision boards, which is what I did. I sat down with a vision board and took magazines and cut out words and feelings and emotions that I wanted, and I pasted on my board and really worked at it and set something up so I could visually see it. We could also visualize it in meditation. We could also just spend time in a space where we're present and just thinking about what that would feel like, what that would be like to have somebody in our space. We could create that space in our home so that we're ready to bring somebody in. Do we have closet space? Are we ready to welcome somebody else that's going to come in with their things? Are we really ready to do that? If you were a painter, you know, The Secret talks about a story in the movie The Secret about having the guy paint his relationships. Remember that?
Yes.
See, it's all visual. How can we visually see it? So thinking about the best way for us, and everybody's going to be different. You know, there might be people out there that don't want to make a vision board, but they might want to meditate, or they might want to sit in a space and think about what that relationship would look like or how it would feel, or, you know, even sitting in different rooms of your home and visualizing somebody there sharing that space with you, and what does that look like? So that gives us kind of the visual. And so that's the second step. So first we create our list, and the second step is to visualize it, to create a way to visualize it. And the third step is to focus. So how do we spend time focusing on it? So if we had a vision board, how do we prop it up so we can see it? Or how do we meditate on it on a regular time frame? Or how do we sit in our space and really think about, not get crazy, but just spend time with the universe, thinking about what that is and being in that space to really visualize it. And then I believe the last and the fourth step is to be open, to look for the signs, right? To look what the universe tells us. Sometimes, you know, when I was dating, I dated 10 years trying to bring in my true love, being newlywed for a couple of years now. It was tough, you know, to do that, but I wanted to be open to the possibilities. And finally the universe said, quit, you know, trying to figure out the height and the color and the career, you know, be open to what might be possible. And once I opened myself up and really stepped in and said, universe, guide me, show me, because sometimes we think we know what we need and we want. And it's not good for us.
Well, yeah, because we a lot of people have this type, and the type is not the type is based more on our limitations and our old belief systems, and we just get ourselves in trouble.
Right? And we're like, oh. And so when we're able to open ourselves up to that possibility and look for the signs, and I mean, really be open to what the universe is trying to share with us and tell us, and who they're bringing into our lives, and not shutting the door too quickly, like stepping in just a little bit, because sometimes we'll peek in and go, oh, nope. And we'll peek in another door and go, oh, nope. And so it's, you know, we have to step in just a little bit and give the process a chance and see what the universe really has for us. And when we're able to do that, it's such a beautiful process. It can lead us to such a fulfilling relationship that means so much more to us than what we can imagine or think that we need. And so opening ourselves to those possibilities is the best way.
Yes. So true. So true. We get we get stuck in focusing on the wrong thing, I think. So I love how you broke down these steps because they're so simple and we can all implement them. And it's just a matter of sticking with it and really claiming what it is that you want and going for it. And like you said, looking for those breadcrumbs, the signs, the little messages that the universe sends to us. Are you on the right track? Are things lining up and doors opening, or does it feel like a struggle and like nothing's working?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. And, sometimes we block it. I have friends of mine that I love dearly that want relationships, but do they have time? Or, where's their focus? And,
Right.
what's going on for them? It might not be the right time. Or, there's something going on that the universe is supporting and saying, not yet, but it's coming. And so, it's just a beautiful process if you can, center and ground yourself and get yourself ready and really do those processes and ask the universe, guide me, help me, show me the way, show me what I need to do. I've always found it will support us when we ask for help and support. It wants to do that so badly if we'll just let it.
Yes, and there is something to say about divine timing too. Timing is everything.
It is. It is.
Well, thank you, Vialet, for joining me today. I really enjoyed this conversation, talking about how we can create magically and really supporting ourselves with the rituals and the sacred space. I mean, I just love having this conversation with you today.
Oh, well, thank you, Angela. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me. This was so much fun, and being able to share with you. I had a great time. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show. I hope you enjoyed today's guest and got something you can start using in your life right away. For more spiritual insights and to listen to more episodes, subscribe to The Awakened Goddess Show at theawakenedgoddess.com and discover wisdom that'll change your life.